You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
Frustration get the better of you and make you do things you should never do. You got to keep the faith, you can't surrender. You never know, tomorrow may be brighter. Behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now. We gotta keep on trying. Keep on going. We gotta keep on moving on. As long as you have health and strength, reaching your goal, nothing should prevent. Every time you fall, get up again. Don't sit down there like that and complain. You got to stand up and continue fighting. Don't give up, keep courage, you must win. Don't you know, behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now. We gotta keep on trying. Oh Lord, we gotta keep on going. We gotta keep on moving on. Obstacles will get in the way, stumbling blocks to hinder your day. But you can't afford to let them stop you, no matter how hard it is to go through. You got to stand up and continue fighting. Endurance shall win in the ending. Don't you know, behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now. We gotta keep on trying. Oh Lord, we gotta keep on going. We gotta keep on moving on. Strong positive mind, negative thoughts, leave them behind. We got to go forward in sure certainty. Let no element humbug that possibility. But if you give up, you have no way of knowing if next day would have brought good tidings. Don't you know, behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now. We gotta keep on trying. Oh Lord, we gotta keep on going. We gotta keep on moving on. Behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now. We gotta keep on trying. We gotta
personal struggle. It's so sad when you feel alone in your trouble. It's real hard when you want to talk to a brother. It's so bad because of how some look at you after. So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Cover my head. Satan want me dead. Cover my back from human attack. So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. People see you smile, but don't know the hurt that you're feeling. Even as God's child, at times your heart does be bleeding. Where can you go when you're really looking for healing? Who know how to flow when your soul needs some restoring? Lord Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Cover me home from evils unknown. Cover my feet so I'll never retreat. Oh Lord, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Cover my brother, cover my sister, them who under pressure. Cover the preacher, every church worker, the young believer. Cover the worship leader and intercessor, every gospel minister. Cover. Jesus alone is the one who has the real answer. The one on the throne is the true and loving Father. He will hold your hand and keep you from going under. He will make you stand and let you know he's a fixer. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Cover my mind. You know the struggle sometimes. Cover my mouth, that the wrong thing wouldn't come out. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover the Christian in the midst of aggression with the power of your right hand. Jesus, cover them helpless children. Jesus, defend them. Send help from heaven. Jesus, cover all them radio stations that blessing the nation. Grant divine protection. Jesus, cover me. Cover me.
Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even the dull and ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself.
You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here, and whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as
Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career. However humble, it is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less from the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive Him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life. Keep peace with your soul, with all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams. It is still a beautiful world. Be careful. Strive to be happy.
You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. You are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad. Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else and will fit somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Let me say a special hello to all the WZYE 95.9 FM listeners. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's the one and only Sunday talk. Let's talk politics with yours truly, Professor Warshid and Uncle Tommy on WZYE 95.9 FM. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we come to you every Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. That's 1 to 4 p.m. And as you come in, ladies and gentlemen, share the live, WZYE 95.9 FM on Facebook and Twitter, WZYE TV on YouTube. And you can reach us here at 973-868-1444. That's 973-868-1444 or 973-609-6509. And if you want to tweet at me, yeah, you could tweet at me at Trini Wall Street. Yeah, or you could tweet at me, get a little tweet now and again. So you can tweet at me at Trini Wall Street. And folks, you know how we start the thing here? We are the only radio station, the only program on the planet. There is no other that have an oath/pledge to the people who listen to this program. Let me repeat that. We also originate, we don't imitate. We are the only radio program on the planet that have an oath/pledge to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension, the diaspora and the world, that we will bring you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to give it to you from a balanced perspective. Yeah? Here we go.
Ansam LeBon and Marshall Nesbitt solemnly swear to conduct this radio program in a true, fair, and balanced manner, ensuring that all perspectives are given equal consideration and that the information presented is objective and unbiased. We pledge to provide a platform where diverse voices can be heard, fostering open and constructive dialogue that serves the best interests of our audience and community. Our commitment is to uphold the principles of journalistic integrity and ethical broadcasting throughout the duration of this program. Thank you.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to come to you and tell you that we are biased to one party. We are just supporting this party, and that's it. But as you know what we say here, folks, doesn't matter what color t-shirt you wear. You have on a blue t-shirt, a burgundy t-shirt, a mauve t-shirt, you're mauve. Doesn't matter what planet you're from Mazatanius, Xenoranius, Sonaranius. Each and everyone is welcome on Sunday Talk, Let's Talk Politics with Uncle Tommy and Professor Wall Street. Let me bring in my partner, the man himself. They say he's a southerner. I don't know what that means. He's from some place that ends with a bay, and he also from a place that say ends with a Bella. I don't know which Bella is that, or which Bella is that. I don't know which bay. It could be Maracas Bay. It could be Carnage Bay. It could be Lavantil Bay. I don't know what bay it is, but he will tell you what bay it is. The man himself, the one and only Uncle Tommy. Tommy, welcome.
Good afternoon, my brother. How are you today?
Today is a splendiferous day, Tommy.
Well, let's thank the Most High for it.
So you ain't want to tell the people which bay it is, Tommy. I call out 3 different bays. Yeah. You ain't want to tell them which bay it is. Correct me, because United get plenty thing wrong.
Yeah, one that was very salty.
Say that one again. One was very what?
It was very salty. The bay had a lot of salt.
So it had a lot of...
no,
but I don't know that one,
They call it Sally. Meaning Sally, salty Sally.
Oh, that's why they call it Sally Bay?
That's why I call it Sally Bay.
Oh, Salty Bay. Oh. They have a salt pond down there too?
No, there's no salt pond. There's just salt in the ocean.
Oh, okay. Salt in the ocean. But the water pristine like blue, you know?
Different times of year, the water's in different state because there's a large river that pours into the bay. So it depends on the time of year and the rainfall and so on and so forth.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me, people that send me these comments, right? Somebody. Okay, yeah. Albert Montano made a comment. The government don't like Philip Alexander. He's exposing the ills of Trinidad. And Heavy responded, I agree 100%. But some people like to shoot the messenger instead of getting the message.
Okay. Some
You
people
know,
have to,
Tommy,
some people have to sue
go
the
ahead.
message.
Go ahead, Tommy. Say what you're
So-
saying.
So some people,
I don't know. Tommy, I really wasn't going to start the program like this, but all these things that's coming to my phone, right? Tommy, so if you have a person who have in his recent, past, previous, last, recent occasions have spouted racist views, you're supposed to ignore that and just listen to his message, right?
there are
Help
those,
me- help
there
me
are,
there too.
there are those who of our persuasion that listen to Trump.
Oh, Tommy, I hear you.
And
Loud
Trump has had a history of very racially biased and racially charged messages and innuendos and so on and so forth and so forth. And still there's some of us who glorify him, and I cannot understand why.
Yeah. Bishop, welcome. Tommy, let's take this call. Bishop, welcome. Yeah.
I'm not hearing Bizram.
You hearing him now?
Nope.
Yeah, go ahead, Bishop. Nah, no meat for me. Hold on, Tommy. Yeah, no meat for me.
Hear this.
Yeah.
You aware a story they call the dog and the goatee? Why the
How you
goatee
gonna
beat
say
the
it?
dog? You know about that?
I hear about a parable with the goatee, you know.
I would
Yeah,
love
but I
to
send the link for you there. I don't know if you could spare me 3 minutes and or less than that there and play it. I send the link for you.
All right, I'll go play.
Wait, you only saying that because I send many times I send video for you that I never play it.
No, I many times you send me video, I play many times. You didn't hear it?
I don't know why. I don't know why you only
That one is 8 minutes though.
cares.
That one is 8 minutes.
The-
The goatee one.
No, it's a small, it's a nice story there where the dog, where Gucci betray the dog
All right.
on a ship there. They invite all animals on board. You know about that?
Nah, I know about that one.
And Mr. Dog put on false horn and Gucci let out his secret because Gucci didn't get to go on the boat.
Oh, okay.
I I send you story there where the captain checking all horns.
All right. So I'll go
And they
play.
say there's a fit on board. Play it for me,
All right.
please.
I'll go play. Let me play.
Yeah, thank you.
So let me
Yeah.
do let me give Bijram let me do Bijram the favor right now, Tommy. Let me play it for him, man. Let me play it for Bijram right now. All right. So we go play is all right. Let me take this call. Hold on. KFC, welcome. KFC.
Good afternoon, Mr. Washi. Good afternoon, Uncle Tommy.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Washi, we had a massive quick yesterday morning about midnight, 6.2.
Yeah, I saw
Yes,
that.
sir.
I saw that.
You feel it over there?
TT Post was gonna send a portion from me, but we ain't get it yet. It hung up in it hung
I
up in
say,
the line.
I say, I'm going to program today. I say, you want PNM Sports and Family, eh?
What is that? The PNM what?
PNM Sports and Family. They are big thing is kind of pack to the PNM Family, Sports and Family, eh?
I hear about it. Yeah. But my phone don't seem to get them kind of events no more. You know?
I said, they are post about the man who vote, about the bill. We think about that man. We think he's supposed to get, he go against the order, you know. When you go against the order, will die politically?
But you know, KFC, after address that, I have a little different take on that one, and we go address that one. I have a different take on that one, yeah?
Everybody go about different take about it too.
Yeah, man.
But I look to listen to you as well. Uncle
right,
Tommy, where you cook by?
I ain't cook nothing. I eating some. I eating some.
Yeah. Tommy, the man asks where you cook, boy. Hey, Tommy, let me play this quickly for Bijram. This is Bijram sentiment. Let me play. Hold on.
Hello, 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 and how are you? I'm glad that you came back, and you, and you, and you. Hello again, boys and girls. It's me, your friend Durnell, and it's nice that all of you came back to join us. Today we are going to be listening to a story about Red Dog and Red Agouti. The title of our story is How Agouti Lost Its Tail. A long time ago, Red Dog and Red Agouti were best of friends. One day, Mr. Bull announced that there was going to be an excursion. All the horned animals were invited. The animals with horns could come on board the big ship as they were going to cruise along the coast of the island. Red Dog and Red Agouti heard this announcement and they wanted to go. Red Agouti, whatever are we going to do? We do not have horns. I know, Dog, this is so sad. We'll never be able to go on this trip. The animals thought hard, and finally, Red Dog said, Aha! I have an idea. We can make some horns. Make horns? Said Red Agouti. Yes, we can use cardboard to make horns and stick them onto our heads. That's a great idea, Red Dog, said Agouti. That's just what we'll do. So the animals gathered all the cardboard they could find and set off to work. They made a first horn and a second horn. They joined them together with cardboard and tried it on Red Dog's head. These look really good, said the animals. This looks real. Help me with mine, said Red Agouti as they started to work on the other horn. All aboard! All aboard! A shout came from the bay. It was Mr. Bull calling all the horned animals. The animals tried and tried. They worked fast, but the horn had to dry because the glue was still wet. They made a first horn and set it aside and started work on the second horn. All aboard! All aboard! Final call! All aboard! By now, half of the animals were on board and started to load. One by one, they went on. Red Dog and Red Agouti continued to work hard. They set the second horn on a stone to dry. Just then, Mr. Bull announced, "Final call! Final call!" He went on board as all the animals had already gone home. Mr. Bull stood in front of the door and looked around to see if there was anybody else. "Wait for me! Wait for me!" shouted Mr. Dog as he ran from behind the rocks down to the bay. "Welcome aboard, Mr. Sian and Goat." Mr. Bull had taken Dog for a kind of goat. Red proudly walked on board and went inside, leaving his best friend, Red Agouti, behind to fight with his own horns. The boat horn honked, "Ooh, ooh." The captain started rolling out. Red Agouti was very upset and he ran down to the bay. "There's a traitor on board!" he shouted as the boat pulled out of dock. At first, nobody took notice and the boat started moving out into the water. But Red Agouti would not give up. He was determined that Red Dog, who betrayed him, would not go on the trip. So he ran along the shoreline, shouting, "There's a traitor on board! Examine the horns! There's a traitor on board! Examine the horns!" Nobody took notice, but Red Agouti would not give up. He continued running along the shoreline, shouting, "There's a traitor on board! Examine the horns!" Finally, the animals began to turn around, looking for the song. Mr. Bull paid quite good attention. "What is it that I'm hearing?" said Mr. Bull. Red Agouti continued on. "There's a traitor on board! Examine the horns!" At this, Mr. Bull decided to check all the animals and ask them to line up on deck. The captain stopped moving and the inspection began. Mr. Bull shook each horn to make sure that all the animal horns were ready. Red Dog stood last in line, hoping that his horns would stay up. Mr. Bull came up to Red Dog, held on to his two horns, and shook. To his great surprise, the horn fell aside. "We have a traitor on board," said Mr. Bull, and with a mighty boot, Red Bull tossed Red Dog overboard. Red Dog fell into the water while all the other horned animals started to laugh at him. The captain started the engine and the animals went on board. Red Dog, shameful, he swam to shore. "I am going to get that Agouti," he thought to himself. Agouti sat on shore laughing at Red Dog because he was happy that Red Dog got tossed overboard. When Red Dog got on shore, he wasted no time. He started to run after Agouti. Agouti started to run. Dog chased Agouti. Agouti ran and he ran and he ran as fast as he could. But Red Dog chased after him. He chased after him. Agouti went up the hill, down the hill, around the tree, and Red Dog continued to chase after him. Finally, Agouti was close to home, and with a mighty leap, he jumped and off into his hole. Red Dog jumped and did the same after Agouti, snapping off Agouti's tail at the edge of his hole. Agouti went into his hole, but Red Dog sat and chewed on Agouti's tail. And that is how Agouti lost its tail. Up till this day, Agouti have no tail, and Red Dog and Red Agouti are still bitter enemies. The end.
Jam, I don't know. I played that for you, but I know, boy. Tell you the truth. I really don't know what it's about. Tommy, you know?
Well, I've known that tale, or however you want to call it, fable tale, whatever, from long ago, long time ago, many eons
what,
ago.
what is the purposes were that the man was trying to escape on the boat and he didn't have no horns and
No, it's how the Agouti lost his tail is the name of this story.
oh okay.
So basically, what it's saying, like it said, Agouti and dogs were best of friends.
That is about, yeah, man.
Yeah, I hear you.
That is about the dissident and them. That was a betray. Camera.
Oh, all right.
You're very moral of the story.
Because I from Chumaka, kind of slow sometime, you know.
You understand?
Yeah. That's why
You hear me?
that's why I told me here to help me. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, that is the story about that. And I call, I don't know now it's 20 now. I know it's between 4 to 5.
Yeah, man.
I don't know, like exceeding the time, you have your own 20 now.
Correct.
The man say after 5, you call it 20 now. You don't know the schedule time.
Yeah.
It's between 4 to 5. We call it X hour.
Yeah.
What is going on?
I know what going on. I missed it. Yeah, man. Bless.
Yeah, man.
All right. Yeah.
So that's all because of that representative from Manzanilla.
Tommy, listen to this. I did an editorial on the whistleblower law, and the opposition supported the government on the oh God, what's that bill again, boy? Let me see what is that bill?
The bill.
No, not the bill. There's another bill just recently, and they support them. The polygraph bill. My bad. The UNC supported the government on the polygraph bill.
And
we're gonna get
bill.
Right. Now, you see, the thing about it is that, and we're gonna talk to the 3 political analysts that should be joining us at the top of the hour: Dr. Shane Mohammed, Dr. Winford James, and Dr. Bishnu Ragoonath, who's going to join us. In my estimation, Tommy, based on what I understand the Whistleblower Act of 2022 to be about, in my editorial, I think that's a good thing for the country.
Absolutely.
And I don't have a problem with one opposition person supporting the government. And you know what? Most people, what my good friend, the fellow with the cricketer last name, what's his name again, Tommy?
Julian.
What?
Julian, Mean Gene.
Oh. Sorry. You know, sometimes I just forget these kind of things. But the fella, Mean Gene Julian. Yeah, Mean Gene Julian. Yeah, that fella. You know, he compliment me and he says, well, finally I see you say something good about the government. But and then my other friend, Gordon Joseph, right? You know, he just called me Nesbitt. I don't know why he does call me Nesbitt, but he does call me Nesbitt.
Okay.
I don't know. And I felt that this was a good bill for the country. So If the opposition senator decide to support the government, I don't see that as a problem, me personally. Now, I know they have responsibility in parliament with respect to them making a decision and they voting accordingly to whatever decision is made, right? But I believe, in my estimation, that bill was a good bill, and that's why I immediately did an editorial on it. But let me go to the chat real quick. Bijram was first one. He says, good day, Uncle Tommy and Wall Street, all listeners locked on today menu, lentil rice and stew chicken. How, Bijram? Lentil rice and stew chicken, Tommy, that is it? No, or lentil rice. Oh, my bad, I missed it. My bad, Bijram. I thought it was lentil and stew chicken, you know. You see, Tommy? All right. So I'm getting a text here on WhatsApp. How the agouti lost its tail. It's an old West Indian reader story.
This is true.
That's how the British colonials educated the plantation class of colonies. Simple mindedness, which is still present as demonstrated by most of our people. Good afternoon, guys. So that's a message I just get on WhatsApp. Yeah, that's a message on WhatsApp. And let me see something. Okay. Let me see if I could play this voice note for you real quick, Tommy. Tommy, you know that the government is going to the Privy Council with regards to the Auditor General, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have they won lately? Oh, yeah, they did win at the Privy Council with respect to what? They won something recently with respect to the when they went to the Privy Council. Did that have something to do with local government election, or did they lose that one?
They lose the local government election.
Right. Was there something they won though? I don't remember. I don't remember. I'm looking for a voice note here from Gordon Joseph. You know why I given the last name Joseph, right?
Oh yeah, Tommy Joseph.
There we go. Yeah. Um I'm looking for that one. Let me see if it's in here. Not that one there. Not that one there. Alright, I don't know where that one is. It must be going down the ladder. Let me see. This is it? No, that's not it. I'm looking for a voice note because I want to play this voice note. Anyway, we're gonna get to that. Let me finish up with the chat. Joan, welcome. Joan says happy Sunday. Patricia Hutchinson, welcome. Blessed sunny Sunday afternoon to Professor Washington and Uncle Tommy and your ardent listeners and viewers. Enjoy your afternoon. Thank you very much. Mean Jean says good afternoon, Wall Street and Tommy. JB Harper said it's called X, no more Twitter. Patricia Hutchinson said Claxton Bay and Marabella Claxton. Or Bijram say, it's Bayram, Uncle Tommy. All right. Renwick Job, welcome. Good afternoon. Mean Jean wants to know what is the relevance to your show. Indra says good afternoon, everyone. Let's quickly go, Tommy. I want to go quickly here to a video. So here it is. So the government is going to the Privy Council regarding the Auditor General. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, there was full support for the polygraph bill. Now, Tommy, you know there was an earthquake in Trinidad. I think they measured 6.2 on the Richter scale.
Correct. Last night.
Some people are saying that the earthquake was a male earthquake. Are you aware of that?
Male?
Yeah, a male earthquake.
Is that as dangerous as a female?
Well, I don't know, but anyway, just listen to this. There was some breaking news that the earthquake was supposed to be a male earthquake. But listen to this. This is the reason why. Listen to this.
Honestly, that earthquake is a male earthquake. You know how I know that's a male earthquake? One, it come here late in the night, unannounced, rudely awaken me. All right, you done wake me up. You come to rock me up hard in my bed, busy. And then you ain't even last long before I even ball, earthquake. You done gone. You done. Right? So you leave me here like Alice in Wonderland. What the hell? Just rough me up, and just leave me and gone. So that is a male earthquake.
Tommy's a male earthquake. You agree or you disagree, Tommy?
Well, I wasn't there.
Oh God. Tommy's a male earthquake.
So obviously it's not as dangerous as a female earthquake.
I don't know, Tommy. I don't know. I don't know, but I wonder and I say, but wait now, boy. What? A male earthquake, boy? Where's a male earthquake? You see, Tommy, boy? We Trini is the best, you know. We good. A male earthquake, boy. I wonder if it's only females feel it the most, or the males also feel it as well. You know, females feel it the most, and the males don't feel it as much as the females felt it.
That's a good one that you have there.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just asking questions, folks. I'm just asking. But let's go to the government going to the Privy Council.
Will immediately apply for leave to appeal the Court of Appeal's decision after Auditor General Jaiwanti Ramdas was granted permission to file a claim for judicial review in her matter against the Finance Minister and the Cabinet. Minister of Finance Colm Imber has instructed the government's lawyers to appeal to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council as an urgent matter. On Friday, the Court of Appeal heard the matter of the Auditor General versus the Minister of Finance and the Cabinet of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago regarding an investigation into the issues associated with the report of the Auditor General on the public accounts for the financial year 2023. The Court of Appeal allowed the Auditor General's appeal of the decision in the related High Court matter, thereby overturning the trial judge's decision. Minister Imber says, having read the decision of the Court of Appeal and having sought advice from senior counsel, he is of the firm view that the issues and points of law in this matter are of sufficient public interest and importance that an application should be made for this matter to be taken to the Privy Council for final determination without delay. Earlier this month, the High Court judge had refused to grant leave to the Auditor General to apply for judicial review of the Cabinet's decision to investigate a number of issues related to the public accounts for the financial year 2023.
Do you think that's a waste of taxpayers' money?
Of course.
You know, Tommy, you just get me vexed sometime, you know. I'm serious. You just answer them question too accurate and too quick. You don't even take like time to like wait and hem and haw. You know, sometimes, you know, when I ask some question, you just be like, you know, you're on the balance beam, you're doing gymnastics, but you answer that too quick.
Some things, they just are obvious.
Some things are obvious.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So listen to this, When I listen to that, it seemed to me that them just want to pay some senior counsels to get some money. Them just want to pay certain people. You going to the Privy Council and you know that go cost a good penny, You going to the Privy Council for that, Tommy? That? How does that really affect the people of Trinidad and Tobago? That money you spending there to go and take them senior councils to go to the privy council. Spend it on social programs in Trinidad and Tobago.
Just
you know what I mean?
Just adding to the hemorrhaging.
And that is sad. Eh? Only going to the privy for what? For what? And then they just want to say, oh, them Tommy and Wall Street, them ADP and them don't like the government. Them don't listen. We will like the government to be more prudent. And Tommy, we go talk about why the government was left off, why Trinidad and Tobago was left off. There's a global report, global peace report, and then there's another report. Trinidad and Tobago was left off those reports. And what are one of the main things they talk about? Transparency and accountability.
Which is what this whole thing with the Auditor General is about too, anyways.
Correct is right. Correct is right. But you have them in the RPNM. Them does anything you tell them does just come and regurgitate it without even doing a little bit of homework. Like the one on 91.9. What is she name? Aka? Or some kind of car. Some kind of car she name is. I ain't sure about she name, eh? So a little get upset with me. I know this says a name end with some kind of car, or some kind of thing like that. Don't get upset with me if I don't know the young lady name, eh? Come bold and brave on the radio station and talking about the only place in Trinidad and Tobago where you get paid during the pandemic. Bold and brave, you know, Tommy. And she wrong like two, what does call it? Wrong like two. What kind of crab does call him again? It's canal crab? What kind of crab?
I know if it's crab. It'd be like 2 cricket ball.
All right, I'm going to use that one. She wrong like 2 cricket ball. With Tommy, is the white or the red? Which one? Because, you know.
Either one.
It doesn't matter which one?
No.
Yeah, she wrong like 2 cricket ball. The one that is using T20 and the one that is using test match. Whether it's the red or the white one. She wrong like both of them. Wrong. Eh? And she bold and big and brave, you know. Anyway. But I like them too bad. Yeah. What they say, they're wrong and strong?
Yep.
And you know what, Tommy? You know what if I was, you know what I would do? When I go and read the news on 91.9, I will apologize to the people of Trinidad and Tobago for getting it so wrong. And making it look like if she was so right.
Have you ever been wrong and strong?
Yeah. I hear about that one.
Right.
Oh, she was wrong and strong. Anyway, here we go now. This is what we would like to see in Trinidad and Tobago, folks. When something is for the benefit of the country, you vote for it.
Everybody supports it.
Everybody supports it. When there is something that you don't believe will benefit the country, right? You could vote against it. I have no problems with that. But let's take a listen to this.
Dr. Ragbear?
Yes.
A rare occasion of desk thumping in the parliament from the government benches, applauding their opposition colleagues for wholeheartedly supporting the Miscellaneous Provisions Testing and Identification Bill 2022. When the votes were tallied, 36 members of parliament voted in favour of the bill. There were no votes against and no abstentions. During the debate, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said the system of polygraphing is technology which is not new and is used by states or nations to question its officers and to get answers from them. He said international partners who help Trinidad and Tobago with national security often hesitate to cooperate due to trust issues arising from some police officers' involvement in criminal activities.
If there are officers who are to share station, information, training, and work programs, those officers are required to be of the highest quality and have an integrity that is beyond reproach. And it falls to the government to make sure that such officers are available in the nation so as to be able to benefit from all that we can get from those who will help us, whether it's the British, the French, the Americans, the Canadians. If we must benefit from being associated with them, we have to have officers of a certain level of integrity.
The Prime Minister noted that TNT is adequately peopled in our police service, but said we are not getting an equivalent level of policing in the service.
The one thing that we have not been able to come to terms with, Madam Speaker, it is the quality and character of miscreants in the police service. And I'm not here broad brushing the police service saying all police officers are. I'm going to the other end of the spectrum. Within the police service, you have people, a small amount, I think, or a not insignificant amount, who are not fit to be in the police service. And therefore you need to know who these people are. And you need to know what all of them are doing. Good ones and not so good ones.
Dr. Rowley said in the absence of a regulatory framework, some police officers could take the view that they would not participate in polygraph testing. The Miscellaneous Provisions Testing and Identification Bill 2022 provides for the use of polygraph tests, drug testing, and biometric identification for members of the protective services, as well as certain officers within the judicial and legal service and the civil service. Karen Kozia-Phillip, TTT News.
Let me say this, Tommy. You know, you have to lead from in front. You can't lead from the back. I don't know where you could lead from the back. Is there any way you think somebody could lead from the back?
No way, Jose.
So, if the government of Trinidad and Tobago, the government wants to do that, every one of them in the government, all of them should take polygraph tests too. So they can be involved in corruption, Tommy.
Absolutely.
So how come they ain't taking no polygraph tests, but they want them to take polygraph tests? So you don't have no corrupted people in the government, right? No, none. There's none. Tommy, I want you to, go at me here, Tommy. Tell me I'm wrong.
You hear the deafening silence?
No, I ain't hearing it because my headphone get very silent. So Tommy, if you are going to implement something like polygraph tests, in my estimation, the government will show the people transparency and accountability. We will take a polygraph test too as well, including the Prime Minister. I don't understand that. I had to be missing something. Something in right. Something in right. Yeah, something in right. Yeah. Let's take this one before we go for the break. Yeah, KFC. Just before we go for the break. Yeah, KFC.
I feel you want to take a polygraph test and leave from the example, because all these politicians.
Yeah, we could subscribe to polygraph test without no problem,
No problem for me. None whatsoever.
Yeah.
No problem. We taking polygraph test.
I'm never going for the break then.
Yeah, man. Yeah, all right. Yeah, we don't have a problem taking polygraph test. So let's go for the break, folks. Just before we go, Curtis Lampkin, welcome. Curtis say happy Sunday. It's croissant. What is croissant, Curtis, boy?
To eat.
How we get there? Mean Gene say comedians all over the place. Kevin Bash, welcome. I was up. My wife felt it, didn't. You got that one, Tommy?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, let's go for the break, folks. He said,
Yeah,
Kevin Bass said he was up, his wife felt it, but he didn't.
He didn't.
Yeah, Kevin, that's a good one. I like that one too bad. All right, folks, let's go for the break. We'll be right back after this. Don't go nowhere. Stick and stay. It's Sunday Talk with Uncle Tommy, Professor Walshy, and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. And hopefully coming up in the next, after we come back, will be 3 political analysts at the same time in one place on WZYE 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
In the sun-soaked streets of Trinidad and Tobago, a subtle shift was underway. A quiet transformation echoed in statistics and felt in the hearts of its people. According to the World Bank, a glimmer of change illuminated the lives of black citizens between 2010 and 2015 under the UNC government. The numbers spoke a story of progress, albeit slow. In 2010, nearly 19.8% of black Trinbagonians struggled beneath the poverty line, surviving on less than $2.15 per day. With each passing year, the percentages dwindled, marking a gradual descent. 19.3% in 2011, 18.8% in 2012, 18.3% in 2013, 17.8% in 2014, and 17.3% in 2015. The downtrend, though slight, was a testament to the efforts aimed at alleviating the burdens of poverty. Yet, amidst these incremental improvements, a stark reality persisted. The poverty rate in Trinidad and Tobago remained alarmingly high, reminding the nation of the uphill battle it faced. And within this overarching struggle, the black community bore a disproportionate burden. Historical discrimination, lack of educational and employment opportunities, and social exclusion conspired to create a persistent cycle of poverty for black Trinbagonians. Living on less than $2.15 per day was not merely a statistic, it represented a daily battle for survival. Families stretched meager resources to cover basic needs, faced with the daunting challenge of putting food on the table, providing education for their children, and accessing adequate health care. The struggle was not just financial but also a fight for dignity and equality. Acknowledging this
According to a Caribbean Development Bank poverty assessment, 26.3% of black people in Trinidad and Tobago live below the national poverty line under Prime Minister Keith Rowley. This is significantly higher than the national poverty rate of 15.2%. The poverty rate for black people is also higher than the poverty rate for other ethnic groups in Trinidad and Tobago, such as East Indians, 12.5%, and mixed, 10.6%. There are several factors that contribute to the epidemic poverty rate among black people in Trinidad and Tobago.
This is oh Lord, Trinidad and Tobago. This is DJ Bravo. I'm hurting it up. This is a sad place. My country turned into a sad place. When I look around, it's only sad face. Our country turned into a sad place. All I see in front of me, nightmares turn into reality. Like somebody build a monster factory. Parliament a pick a parliament economy. But let the moderator send another body in a dream. Somebody girl child missing, another rape again. And next road stain with somebody sunburn. Who take the F out of Port of Spain. This is a sad place. My country turned into a sad place. When I look around, it's only sad face. Our country turned into a sad place. Now with the love, with the vibes, with the hope. Now tell me something, how we really want we cope. When the children breathing in too much gun smoke. And the Coast Guard can never see a boat. Yes, I'm like some goats when they come looking for votes. Say to empty promises, reading like a horoscope. Justice for sale in a fat envelope. Politically, all the answers is a joke. This is a sad place. My country turned into a sad place. When I look around, it's only sad face. Our country turned into a sad place. All I see in front of me,
Nightmares turn into reality. Like somebody build a monster factory. Parliament up in the parliament economy. But look the moderators in another body in a drain. Somebody girl child missing, another rape again. And next road stain with somebody's son brain. Who take the S out of Port of Spain. This is a sad place. My country turned into a sad place. When I look around, it's only sad face. Our country turned into a sad place. It doesn't matter the religion, the color, the creed, or the race. It's our responsibility to take care of our place. Champion!
It's your boy WZYE, baby.
Yo, what it does? This your homie Rick Ross. This is your boy Gucci Man LaFleur.
You're in the mix with Sunday Talk, Let's Talk Politics with Uncle Tommy and Professor Wall Street.
It's crazy, you heard me?
Hey, I'm Ariana Grande. Hey, yo, this Cardi B. What's up? It's Megan Thee Stallion.
You're in the mix with Sunday Talk, Let's Talk Politics with Uncle Tommy and Professor Wall Street.
Check this out, it's DJ Khaled. This is Post Malone.
Yes, that little Chico Pitbull. You're in the mix with Sunday Talk, Let's Talk Politics with Uncle Tommy and Professor Wall Street. You are listening to Sunday Talk, Let's Talk Politics with Uncle Tommy and Professor Wall Street on WZYE 95.9 FM.
Frustration get the better of you and make you do things you should never do. You got to keep the faith, you can't surrender. You never know, tomorrow may be brighter. Behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now. We gotta keep on trying. Keep on going. We gotta keep on moving on.
And of course, we are back with you. It's Sunday Talk, Let's Talk Politics with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. Of course, folks, share the live on WZYE 95.9 FM on Facebook and Twitter, now known as X. You can also share the live on WZYE TV and YouTube. And you can reach us here at 973-868-1444. That's 973-868-1444.
Yeah, but Mr. Blackman is right. Let's have Trump take a polygraph test.
Yeah, I mean, if we are serious talking about people taking a polygraph test in the parliament and talking about the corrupted police officers, to me, the government should take polygraph tests too, because I want to know, Tommy, I want to know if the discussion with the Prime Minister and what's his name? Naveen Jindal or Nindal, whatever his name is, the wealthy Indian businessman, with respect to the Petrotrain oil refinery and the Indian Academy. I want to know if what he told us was the truth. Yeah, because them fellas didn't know somehow when the Minister of Energy come out and say, well, that fella was involved in corruption years ago. Okay. Okay, Tommy. Okay. He was involved in corruption years ago. So we should put that to the side. Right, Tommy?
Absolutely.
Then I don't know. Maybe I missed something, you know? But then I just miss a lot.
I certainly missed something when it comes to the underutilized Brian Lara Academy in South there that is being ignored.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. Let's take this call. COP, welcome. Happy Sunday.
Wall Street. Good afternoon to you, Wall Street.
Yeah, man.
And good afternoon to you, Uncle Tony. Good afternoon to all the listeners of them. Looking forward to listen to them three. It just those three guys that you have to interview. I know this will be a bumper program.
Yeah.
I hope everybody share to their friends and family and let them know. Good program on air, Sunday Talk with Wall Street and Uncle Tony. But Uncle Tony, we Prime Minister, I classify my Prime Minister as a FMC Prime Minister. And you can classify it as fig, mango, and cucumber. If you have sense, you're going to know what I'm talking about. But I classify it as fig, mango, and cucumber. It is nice for the Prime Minister to highlight the crooks in the police service. But the police and them that he was bringing over here to pay $45 million, Gary Griffith mentioned, to investigate the UNC. That was corruption he was bringing in the police service. That was the worst kind of corruption because he was encouraging police to behavior and misbehavior in public office. That is what was happening. And I think police officers and them should go through a lie detector test. And the police officers and them should, when they arrest people, should tell them, hey, you have to go through a lie detector test. And if they want to do it to politician too, they have to go through that lie detector test. Once it is a matter of police interest, and they want to do that, they should have that. But they said Dr. Rowley don't want politicians to go through no lie detector test because they're going to ask questions like, how much young girl you ever had in your life? And if you ever hold your wife, and them kind of thing they will ask the politician. And so probably they breaks in from them thing. Wall Street and Uncle Tony. But I look forward for those three gentlemen that they come to interview over here, and not just me alone. The citizens of Trinidad and Tobago looking forward. Shade Mohammed, good afternoon to you. Looking forward to hear you all.
Yeah, man.
Bumper program, KFC and Kingsley. Good afternoon.
All right,
I'm
man.
Mr. Florida. Thank you.
Bless.
Good afternoon, Kenji.
Yeah, Tommy, so they're supposed to be joining us. I'll have to send them an email just to make sure. I tell them 2:00, but I don't know if they still think that we on that type of time. You know what I mean? But but Tommy, I sometimes I just wonder. But here is my editorial on the whistleblower, right? And I want to play an opinion by Clyde Weatherhead, and I want to talk why Trinidad and Tobago was left off the global business report that they issued recently, right? And I also wanted to ask the political analysts, what is their take on that? So which one should I go first with, Tommy? We had the editorial. We have an opinion by Clyde Weatherhead on the situation with the Prime Minister and the Indian businessman. And we had the editorial why TNT was left off the World Bank report on countries in the Caribbean.
With your editorial first.
All right, let me go with the editorial first. All right, let's go with this one.
An editorial by Professor Wall Street. The recent passage of the Whistleblower Protection Act.
Let me take this call before we go. Mover Defender, welcome.
Hello, good day.
Yeah, good day. How are you doing?
Good day.
Yeah, man.
I'm okay by the grace of God.
Excellent.
What should I would ask that question, right?
Yeah.
If the things we'll be doing, like calling and bringing up the issues, and things change, who do you think is going to benefit? You or the entire country?
The country.
So why, when you stand up to talk the truth, there's being hated? You ever ask yourself that question?
Well,
Like for instance,
go ahead.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Like for instance, Rosie was the best thing when he was back talking Kamala. Now it's the worst thing that he's back talking we're going on in the country right now.
Correct.
Me, how much friends I lost. Some people hate me right now because I am talking out for the truth. You ever pay attention to like why that is so?
You know, Jeff Bezos, a man who's a gazillionaire, he stated that in order for any organization to function to 100% capacity, there must be a mechanism for truth telling. This is not me saying that, and we play that here all the time. Jeff Bezos, a gazillionaire, he stated that in order for any organization, you put political organization in there must be a mechanism for truth telling. And if there's none, that organization most of the time will fail. So I believe, in my estimation, Tommy, I like to hear Tommy's opinion. In my estimation, when you are telling truth mover defender, people don't really want to hear that, you know. And in Trinidad and Tobago, I can say this, PNM people don't want to hear the truth. They're not interested in hearing the truth. No, they're not.
I see PNM people worship. Cussing an economist.
Yeah.
So what the finance minister, who is that engineer, said, you know.
Yep.
The man who's doing it for a living, went to school, educated himself about numbers. They don't believe the another believe the finance minister who's an engineer.
Yep.
That's how bad it is, you know. And one of the reasons I don't this lane, I realize that I'm a calm kind of persona today because I've been doing some soul searching and thinking. Did you see that A.V. Julian got a bidding contract? You see it?
No, I didn't see it. Tommy, you see it?
I saw that.
A.V. Julian got a bid, he got a exploration license this week here.
Okay.
He was cussing on the social media, saying Rowley is God.
Okay.
And calling Kamala all kind of evil names.
Yeah.
So this what makes my Indian persona today worship and Uncle Tony is because it seems like the worse you act in this country under the PNM is the better for you.
You get rewarded. You're rewarded.
You get rewarded for being a nuisance. Because I could have never believed in a million years that Christopher paid $800 an hour to Stephen Williams for the worst crime rate in the history of Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh God. Yeah.
So when I sit down and think about these things, what should I ask myself, boy, are we going to get better or worse? Because if a prime minister could come in parliament and talk about 7,000 VAT items didn't have VAT, and he have a problem with that, where are we really going in this country? Because watching is a scary thing, that's how people still support the CNN. I just ask myself every day, I'm being honest here, how come? What is really happening? Because if I see the country going down this road, and I still have a little thing going on, I'll be honest, things still a little bit in my favor, compared to the people who don't have nothing, and honestly are vexed with me for saying certain things, or talking about certain things. It's very scary.
Mover defender.
Indian walk.
Yeah, go ahead.
Could vote back PNM. 700 votes more than before. I don't know if you remember. What caused the by-election was tied, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the vote was the deciding vote was for UNC. It didn't have a signature of the presiding officer. It wasn't a fault of the voter.
Right.
It wasn't the fault of the voter. It was the fault of the presiding officer. And they decided to do a by-election and PNM win by 700 more votes now. So I don't know if Indian walk mistakenly is in India because if it's in Trinidad and 700 people come out more and vote for the PNM, that's scary one shit.
Yeah. Correct
I
is
don't know if
right.
it's scaring you, but it's scaring me.
No, it's scary. It's scary. It's scary. You know?
So I now I come in as kind of calm person that normally I firing. But it's getting really scary in Trinidad now.
But Mover Defender, I want to say something there. I think a by-election is totally different than a general election.
Well, shit, you could say that. I understand you could say that.
Yeah.
Well, shit, market school, right? Him over. I'll leave on this one here. Market him over, right?
Yeah.
Was broken down under the People's Partnership, right? I think it was 2013, right?
Mm-hmm.
Contract was awarded. A gentleman got the contract. I want to let you know if you want to. I want to fact check this.
Mm-hmm.
The contract was awarded to a gentleman, right? In 2013, he started the school, right?
Mm-hmm.
The foundation was built, and well, you know what happened? Governments changed, right?
That is God Kasifo?
No, I can't remember the man's name. He passed away now during the COVID.
Okay.
I forget the guy's name. I'll bring it back to you at a next program. Right?
Okay.
The guy was so confident that he's going to get back the contract.
Mm-hmm.
He used to pay the youth in the area to pump the water out of the foundation and cut the grass around the site, right? So let's keep the site kind of reasonable, right?
Mm-hmm.
During the COVID, the guy passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, all this finances he was putting forward, hoping that about the contract, went to zero, right?
Yeah.
You know the hurtful thing? They took back the contract, do over the design, bring it back at a higher price, and awarded somebody else. So the person who got the contract, the work started back last week.
Mm-hmm.
The person dig up the foundation and started over from scratch. I wonder if you're listening to my tell you this now.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder if you're paying attention to what I just said to you.
No, I understand.
I brought that to you, Wall Street, is because last local election, they brought something called Color Me Red the last week before the local election.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my peers went and took it. So saying to say, Wall Street, I know what is coming next. They are coming with the bone, with the doggy, you know the doggy bone?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us going to forget what happened in 9 years.
Yeah. That's the way it is.
It's so scary to me. So let's bring your attention for you. I know Uncle Tommy does have a lot of really nice response to certain things like these. But I want to hear your opinion on these few topics I brought up today about how they want to kill the person who bring in truth and right, who is not looking for nothing in return, just trying to educate the people.
Yeah.
And this every drilling thing. And this Indian workforce. So I would like to hear your opinion when I have a chance.
All right, man.
I really want to bring it to your attention.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Enjoy it, but thanks for the little time.
All right, man. Let me just send this message to hold on, Let me send this message to I want to send this message to Dr. Winford James. We already have Dr. Bishnu with us. We're gonna bring him in. Let me send this message to Dr. Winford James. Let me make sure you have the right link. Okay, hold on, folks. Let me see here. Okay, Tommy. Let me see. D-I-A-N-A. Okay, here's the link. Use this link. Winford James. Use this link. Use this link. Okay. All right. So I'll send that link for him. Let me bring in Dr. Bishnu Ragoonath. Dr. Bishnu, welcome to Sunday Talk. Let's Talk Politics with Uncle Tommy and Professor Walsh. How are you doing, Doc?
I'm okay. How are you?
Well, you know, we are there. We are surviving. You know, we didn't have an earthquake, so I mean, how are you? How did you survive from the earthquake? I was told that the earthquake is a male earthquake. I don't know how true it is.
Just a little shake.
Say that again.
You don't have to worry. Just a little shake.
A little shake.
Just a little shake.
Oh, all right.
Over the country or just only on the west?
No. Apparently, it was across the country. I mean, I am in St. Augustine, and we got a good shake here. So.
Was that earthquake expected, or was that something that?
Because we always expect earthquakes, and the question is how strong, and what we were told.
All right, Dr. Bishop.
But the good thing about it is in Venezuela, and it was deep. If it was a lot more shallow, we would have gotten a lot worse.
Let me say welcome to Dr. Winford James. Dr. Winford, nice to join us. How are you doing today, sir?
Professor Ward's.
Good afternoon, Doc.
How are you doing?
Thank you, gentlemen. Gentlemen, may I greet you as well.
Yeah, and we have Dr. Bishnu there with us. You know.
Hey, Bishnu, my friend there.
Yeah, Winford, I'm here.
Dr. James, how did the earthquake affect you all in Tobago? Or did you guys get it?
But here, what happened? I have a story to tell. If you will, can you hear me?
Sure, we hear you loud and clear.
Right. So I have a story to tell, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I was there watching the cricket.
Yeah.
I was watching the cricket, and I was rooting for Afghanistan.
Yes.
Why is there this delay, Tommy?
No, we hearing you loud and clear.
Delay?
We hearing you fine now. Let me see something. Let me try something.
It's not real time. It's not real time. So it's
how about that?
It's affecting my thinking.
Okay. How about that? Is that any better?
We will see.
All right, let's see. All right, so continue with the talk and let's see. Try again.
So I was saying I was rooting for Afghanistan.
Right.
And when the guy took the catch, no man, this is not good. Wall Street.
Right. Hold on.
Professor Wall Street.
Hold on, let me do something.
I am your guest and I need to be treated differently.
All right, okay, all right. Listen to this. Try that. How about that? I just removed someone to see if it's their feed. I removed Tommy. So let's try and see. Let me know if you're still getting the feedback.
No, I think I'm still getting feedback and I can't get to tell my story.
So Dr. James, can we do this? Can you go back out and come back in?
No, there is a delay in broadcasting what I have said.
Okay, but because I am hearing you loud and clear and you are getting a delay. So I'm trying to figure out what is causing the delay. I don't know if it's on your end or if it's on our end. So I'm trying to figure that out. Okay, there we go. So we got to wait and see. Let me bring Tommy back. So we got to wait and see if it's him and we'll see. So Dr. Bishnu, welcome back. I hope we can get the story from So Dr. Bishnu, I want to go to an item here. You know, I mean, we have several items in Trinidad and Tobago, of course. Let me try this again. Let me try again.
All right. So can you hear me now?
Yes, we're hearing you now.
Okay. I am not hearing any feedback just
wonderful,
yet.
Wonderful.
So there was I.
Yeah.
Taking in the match between Australia and Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So the Giant versus the Minnows. And I was rooting for Afghanistan because there's a quiet arrogance about the Australians that I'm not impressed. I don't like. I think Afghanistan has been trying its best to be properly noticed in the cricketing world. So they had a score of 148 and Australia was to make 149. And the wicket started to tumble. And I began to believe that Afghanistan would win the match. So there was one more wicket to go. And then the guy hit the ball into the air a long way up. And as it came down, it got caught. But at that very moment, my house shook. That's the point I want to make. As soon as Afghanistan took that catch, my house began to. I said, and I called out to my wife and said, but there's an earthquake. The shake to my mind was frightening, even though the report said that it was a magnitude of 6.2. It seemed to me to be more than that. So I'm just thinking, I'm trying to explain to myself, how is it my house started to shake when Afghanistan won? So I was just saying, yes, I experienced the earthquake. I don't know what damage it has caused, if any. I hope it has not caused any damage. But I'm still happy for Afghanistan. I hope they win at least another match.
And
As for the West Indies, of course, I am backing them to beat South Africa badly tonight.
yeah, and of course, you know, we live here in the United States of America. I'm totally supporting the West Indies against Australia. And just as an aside,
You mean against South Africa?
I mean South Africa, yeah, against
Yeah.
South Africa, yeah. Just as an aside, isn't Dwayne Bravo one of the coaches for Afghanistan?
Yes, I can't remember if he's the bowling coach or the batting coach, but he's on the team, the Afghanistan team. Yeah.
So Dr. Bishnu, I know you also into cricket. So I mean, give us your cricket take now, because you know we just can't talk. You know, I mean, you're supporting the West Indies. You're sitting down on the sideline. You know, I mean.
I was a fervent West Indian supporter from the early days, and then in the last 10 years or 15 years, I kind of like just decided I can't support it, but I can't support any other team, unfortunately.
Dr. Bishnu, I'm surprised at you. There is a term in global business called a bandwagonist. Are you saying that? Are you saying that you jumped off the bandwagon when they were losing, and now you're jumping back on the bandwagon because they are winning? Is that what it is?
Of course. No, mind you. When I jumped off the bandwagon, it was like if I was jumping on somebody else's band. I just jumped into the ocean and cool myself out. But I was waiting for my team to come back. So my team is back. So I'm rooting for West Indies tonight to ensure that we beat South Africa and get into the finals. I'm hoping that tomorrow, I mean, like Winford, that Afghanistan gets the better of, I think it's Bangladesh they're playing tomorrow.
Okay.
And
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. And if they get the better of Bangladesh, I hope that they do have a chance of getting into the
semifinals.
Yes, because I mean, when I look at it, if West Indies could beat South Africa tonight,
right,
the semis would be, and if Afghanistan could beat Bangladesh, then it would be India, Afghanistan, England, and West as the semifinals.
Yeah,
I don't mind that at all.
I hear you. All I'm banking on is West Indies take care of South Africa. They win, and you know, I mean, the rest of them, because I'm a full supporter of the West Indies. You know, up here, I know it's the same time in Trinidad. The game finishes like maybe close to 12 p.m. and it's a night game.
Yeah, just after 12.
Right, and I am up for all of those games.
Yeah.
I am up for all of those games.
I tell you, one of the things that impresses me about the competition is how sports unites people.
Correct.
All shapes, all sizes, all colorations. That I find that so impressive and so welcome. Yeah. Obviously, sports is not politics, but if people could relate to each other on the respectful and happy grounds that I see in the stadium, on the field, we will have a much better world.
But you know, Dr. James, I have observed something, and we're going to get to some of the topics we want to talk about. I have observed something, though, right? Darren Sammy is not one of the coach or the manager of the West Indies team, right?
He's the head coach.
And they are doing the best in years, right? Darren, Bravo is one of the coaches of Afghanistan, and they are doing excellent, right? Kyron Pollard is also a coach in England, correct?
Yes, assistant coach, yeah.
In England, and they are doing excellent as well, right? So it tells me that we have the expertise in the Caribbean in order for us to be the best of the best. And because other countries are coming to us, and I'm saying us, the West Indies, to make past players coaches. You know, what do you guys say about that? What do you say, Dr. James?
First of all, at the professional level, there are times when cricket does not, or let's say participation in cricket as player or manager or coach knows no boundaries and has no constraints on it. You give your loyalties to those that you are on whose side you happen to fall. And these guys are professionals in that sense. Not that they don't like their country, but when it comes down to brass tacks, they are making money by hiring out themselves, by selling their expertise. And it's business for them mostly. Now, I'm not doubting that they don't have feelings of loyalty and so on, right? And patriotism. I think they do. But at the level of employment and so on, where your livelihood is concerned, I think the guys have chosen to work for money than to struggle with West Indies. I think that's what is happening. And it doesn't affect only the approach of the West Indian or former West Indian players. It's all over the world. It's the English people are doing that. Those teams that have people who have the skills, they're doing that. The cock from South Africa is doing that, and there are other South Africans, people from South Africa. They play in the CPL. But I'm saying as well that there are people, like let's say Australians also are hiring out their services, people like Pontin. Let me just send this person out, please.
Okay, all right. So Dr. Bishnu, what says you? And then we're gonna get into the topic. Anything you want to talk about with respect to?
No. When you talk about cricket, and this is one of the challenges that I've had. You asked me, when I jumped off the bandwagon, I'll tell you what.
Yes, you caught me on a pro.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Around 2008, when West Indies cricket was dipping, by the time it was dipping back. Conference. And I was in New Zealand, and Trinidadian who was living in New Zealand came and won their.
Just fix it for me, please.
Yeah. Trinidadian who was living in New Zealand came, picked me up, and took me out. And one of the places she took me was one of these, grounds. And I will tell you that day I saw probably, and I would think in the vicinity of about 1,000 children. When I say children, played in cricket, in each one having their own little area. And I say, this.
We're having a little.
Yes, I think his broadcast is spotty.
Yeah.
But his story is good. I would like to hear that story finish.
Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Bishnu.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that we have not been able to pull together all our people. When we look at in Trinidad, for instance, you have some people direct. In their own communities. But the point about it is that we, as a region, as a country, do not.
Yeah, his internet is a little spotty.
Cricket, our young cricketers.
Yes. How you mobilize the talent we have? How do you encourage development of the young, and so on?
Now, Dr. Bishnu and Dr. James, since that we are talking about cricket, right? I would like to find out what is you guys' position with respect to the leasing of land from the Pantrinbago land to create a new cricket academy in that vicinity there. Dr. Bishnu, I can start with you. What is your take on us having this land leased out for a cricket academy, since we're talking cricket?
I was in a meeting last week with Dr. James was there, but I think he came in a little bit late. And I was telling the people there that last year, present a paper, and the paper was on renewable energy and our use of or failure to use our natural resource.
So we having a little delay.
That they're talking about there, that land.
So Dr. Bishnu, can we, Dr. Bishnu, we having a little delay with you. Can you try going out and coming back to see if we get a better connection?
Yeah, that's a good idea because it worked for me.
Yeah, Dr. Bishnu, can you go out and come back?
Okay.
Right.
Maybe I should move because my Wi-Fi here may not be as.
No, I think Dr. James had the same problem, but he went out and he came back and it went good. Right. So let me kick you out and then you come back. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. So Dr. James, I'll ask you the same thing that I asked Dr. Bishnu. What is your take on the land from Pantrinbago being given or being leased to the wealthy Indian businessman for our cricket academy? What is your take on that?
Oh, well, the matter is not too complex for me. We have two very good grounds for playing cricket. Queen's Park Oval and the Brian Lara Academy, right? I think both of them are underused. And if there are people with money who think that the buildings are not used to their full potential and need some refurbishment, some overhauls, some adjustments, some change, perhaps they can spend their money on those too. But if you have a rich Indian businessman or whoever who has the capital to expend in that way, Tobago doesn't have any cricket grounds to talk about. You do have some grounds in small communities, but you don't have any Tobago grounds that can fit the description that we hear of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia, what's the other one? Sir Vivian Richards grounds. We don't. Tobago, as a small island, does not have that. So why would you want to put down a third cricketing facility when Tobago, which is part of the Twin Island state of Trinidad, does not have any? Right? Especially, as I said, both grounds in Trinidad are operating under capacity. You with me?
Yeah, I'm fully with you.
And that reminds me, though, that when they were putting down the University of Trinidad and Tobago, they were building the Trinidad and Tobago University in a context where Tobago does not have a university, but you already had elements of buildings of the UTT. You also had foreign-based universities like the Adventist universities.
Yeah.
You had those there. You had COSTAT, and you had its partner, whose name I can't remember now. But Tobago did not and does not have. So I'm saying there is a comparability here with the Pantrinbago lands. That you already have the Brian Lara, which is underused, and you have the Queen's Park Oval, which is underused, but you are announcing that you would want to put down a building in Trin City there, across the highway from the Trin City Mall, where the abandoned Pantrinbago headquarters building is. So that's how I look at it. Again, nobody who was consulted in that apparent decision. I'm not saying that any decision has been taken, but ideas have been floated. But we have capacity in the country which has not been accommodated in the way that it should be. And of course, we have the underutilization of the two cricket grounds which I mentioned there. And I think that's not good enough on the part of the Prime Minister to encourage capital, foreign capital, when to use areas of the country that apparently are easy to appropriate and to leave Tobago out in the cold. I think the money would be much better spent on a cricketing facility in Tobago.
Dr. Bishnu?
Okay, so I totally agree with Dr. James there. And my question, for instance, would further that point. We set up the Brian Lara Cricketing Academy. That place in Karuba there was not only supposed to be a cricket ground, it was supposed to do everything, training, everything.
Yeah. That's true.
All we using the Brian Lara cricket ground for is to play matches and to hold fence. Where's the training element? When you tell me you're going to build a new a cricket academy in Trin City there, are you building a building? Are you going to build a stadium? And then there's nothing else that goes with the training element and so on? Because that seems to be the simple thing that you're getting. So yes, we're getting foreign investment, but how are we using that foreign investment? And what is the outcome of it? And that, I think, is our problem with politics and the sport.
Yeah.
Now here's a question, right? And I think Dr. Bishnu and Dr. James, you guys can help Tommy and I here. If land is going to be given or leased to a wealthy businessman, shouldn't there be a procurement process before that happens, or that just goes out the window?
I don't know what the law says. I don't know, but I know for local businessmen operating in Trinidad, you have to bid just like anybody else. What happens between our government and foreign people, foreign persons or government? I am not at this time fully au courant, as we say, with respect to what is normal and what is legal in relation to giving people preferential access to opportunity. Right? Now, I like your question, because what you are questioning underlyingly is the favoritism because of, I suppose, some blandishment, some sweetening of the hand and so on may have taken place to allow a billionaire to put down the facility there. And then you talk about employment, and you talk about the issues that Bishnu was referring to. The issues that you are in terms of training that Bishnu was referring to in relation to what's the point I was making? I just got a little distracted there.
No, you're talking about, you actually talk about the sweetening of the hand, and what Dr. Bishnu was referring to with respect to
the training. Training, if the training can happen in the proposed new facility, then it certainly can happen with what exists right now. So that it's the use of the building, right, that we are talking about here. It cannot only be for fetting, and it cannot only be for playing games. Those are important things because they are part of the culture and the civilization that we are building in this country and elsewhere in the Caribbean. But what I think Professor Wall Street is hinting at is that there might be impropriety there in relation to giving people who have the easy capital, to give them preferentialities and so on, that in fact disadvantages and disprivileges other people who are prepared to abide by the rules that they're aware of.
Okay. Dr. Bishnu?
Winford used the term, the rules by which they are prepared to abide.
You know, Dr. Bishnu, I thought you was gonna talk about the sweetening of the hand.
Yeah, no, I come in there.
Okay.
Because you see, they say talk is to talk, and mouth or jump out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's your initial question was about public procurement. Let me start there. We started off with a public procurement regime in Trinidad in 2015. This government came into office with a public procurement regime in place, which they never implemented. And there was reason for that. Because you see, we had the tendency of having a prime minister who micromanages to some extent. I have complained bitterly about the fact that when Prime Minister went on his trip to China and ended up in Australia before coming back to Trinidad, when he went to Australia, next thing we know is that he ordered 4 boats in Australia, the 2 ferries, the Boca Reef and the APT James, as well as 2 boats for the Coast Guard.
Yes, he and Stuart Young.
But the Prime Minister is not the one who is supposed to go out there and do those kinds of procurement.
Right. And he doesn't have the skill. Doesn't have the skill set, right, that we expect in such matters. And you wonder about bribery there in such a situation. Yeah.
Exactly. So I start there. You hear this Indian businessman is coming or is willing to invest money in Trinidad. And mind you, I am not saying we don't want the investment, but I'm saying we have to be wary of what strings come attached to these offers.
Yeah.
But I have a bigger concern in that. It appears that one of the individuals, I don't know if the same individual, have been involved in corruption and kickback scandals in India. And when the Prime Minister was asked about it, he said he didn't know. And then Stuart Young came out and said, that happened a long time ago. Why are they worried about that now?
Let me stop with
that. Yeah, okay.
Let me stop it. Yeah. That's a different story. That's a different Indian businessman. We're not talking about the one who's talking about the cricket ground. The one
okay,
talking about
the one with the Petrotrin. I the one with Petrotrin.
Yeah, that's one Petrotrin.
Okay,
so
all right.
Different story. It's 2 different Indian businessmen who have been courted or who are being courted to bring money into Trinidad. My question is, on what basis? So the one with the cricket ground or the cricket academy to the one now that we hear about the Petrotrin. Who wants to buy Petrotrin or who's interested in Petrotrin? So those are 2 different issues. But you see, and this is where, when you talk about public procurement and you talk about how things happen and so on, and when Dr. James talked about the sweet in the hand and so on, I have to ask other questions because there are other stories that are blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
That we have to ask about. So, for instance, the latest one is one we heard about last week when we were told that a foreigner is going to be coming to be the
I
no
think
problem with that.
Wait. A foreigner coming to be the CEO of WASA, is that what you was going to say?
Yes.
Okay.
The question is, where is the foreigner coming from? But two things are of interest to me, or raises my red flags. One, IDB is pumping a lot of money into WASA. But who leads IDB now? And where was he living just before he came back to Trinidad, before he got to IDB?
Like the fellow from Ghana, the fellow wants to go back to Ghana because he was named. Oh, okay. That is the fellow.
Right.
His name is Naveen.
No, Lee Hunt. You're talking about Lee Hunt.
Oh, Lee Hunt.
Lee Hunt. You're talking
Who
about
came and was Minister of Public Utilities.
Yes, and he had to go back to Ghana because
Right.
he had dual citizenship, and then he had to come back.
Right. And he was made manager of Ansa Makal Bank and so on.
Yeah. All of that.
Robert.
And now he's in IDB.
Yep.
Robert. And now he's in IDB. Is this CEO who is coming in one of his friends? No, I do. We haven't seen the CV. We don't know who the person is. All we told is the person coming from Ghana.
What is the?
So, and this is where.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you just got to
transparency. When we talk about transparency and those sort of things, whether we talk about public procurement, whether we talk about all of those things comes back now. Where's transparency in all of this?
And what is the role? What is the role, gentlemen, of government to government arrangements in the context of procurement? How far does procurement reach? Right? What is accepted? What is exempted? Right? Can you have, in the case of the purchase of the boats in Australia, under terms that we are not fully aware of even to this day, how far can we depart from the use of procurement legislation in deference to an arrangement between one government and the next? What is excused? What is avoided? What is escaped? We don't have that kind of conversation. We don't have it in the parliament either.
No.
Dr. James.
We had it in the parliament, you know.
Uh-huh.
We had it in the parliament. In 2020, in 2022, the government went back to parliament in those 2 years and removed from the previous legislation.
The impediments to government arrangements.
Government to government. So they removed them in 2020 and in 2022. So that
in anticipation of the purchase.
No, but the purchase was before that. One. And two, the arrangements we're talking about now with the Indian businessmen is not government to government.
Correct.
This government private sector.
These are persons. These are persons.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
So I'm asking you if the
Dr. James,
gentlemen, we have the top of the hour coming up.
Yeah. Dr. James and Dr. Bishnu, hold for us just a few seconds. We got to go for a quick station identification. Folks, it's Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics with esteemed political analysts, Dr. Winford James and Dr. Bishnu Ragoonath, Uncle Tommy Wall Street and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. We're going to go for a quick station identification and we're going to come back with the discussion. And folks, if you have any questions for Dr. Bishnu or Dr. James, you can put them in the chat and we try to get a little few phone calls in. So stick and stay. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
Here we go. We are back with you. It's Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, Dr. Bishnu Ragoonath, Dr. Winford James, and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. Yeah, Tommy?
Dr. James has disappeared.
No. I took him off the screen because he left. So I as soon as he come back, I put him in. So Dr. Bishnu, he just left to do something. So as soon as he come back, I put him back in.
But, now we are riddled with issues every Monday morning that seems to be coming up over and over and over again when it comes to procurement, business, shady business, spotty business, things that don't seem right. What are some of the solutions that we can present to fix some of these issues that are plaguing our governance in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, that is the challenge that we have faced. And in fact, even before we went in the 2020 general elections, when people kept asking me what would be my concerns about re-electing the PNM, I said the PNM had a bad track record of good governance. What has happened since then? Not right, but they continue to undermine their bad track record to make it even worse in terms of governance. The issue of transparency, the issue of accountability seems to be something that the PNM are not willing to treat with at all when we come to governance in Trinidad. The unfortunate part of this is simply that with a weak opposition, and the opposition is weak, there's no doubt about it. With a weak opposition, they feel they could do whatever they want and get away with it. The guardians of our democracy, to some extent, no pun on the word guardian here, but the media has not necessarily been holding the government to account the way that we would have expected them to hold them to account.
I love the question.
I mean, over the years, yes. Over the years, what we have had is simply this. Many a times we hear every other week or every week, particularly so when we were in the midst of COVID, there would be media conferences. But the hard questions is either they were not asked or they were told you could not ask those questions. And the media
I hear you.
Being placed on what they could ask.
I hear you, Dr. Bishnu, and I think that in my estimation, Dr. James as well, when we look at the media conference, I think the media is in a kind of difficult position because there was also a report recently. One media corporation of Trinidad and Tobago, the government wanted 2 additional board members. And one media corporation involves like I-95.5 and a few other TV stations in Trinidad and Tobago. And to me, why would a government want 2 additional board members on one, I think it's One Media Caribbean, 2 additional board members? To me, that just seems to me that the transparency and accountability as far as the media concerned is severely lacking in Trinidad and Tobago. And we are here in the media, in foreign, but I guess we are not beholden to the government of Trinidad and Tobago. So I guess we can speak truth to power here on WZYE 95.9 FM. What says you, Dr. James?
Well, there are a lot of questions arise from the questions that Tommy raised. So let's start with one. And that is, right now in our governance arrangements, Parliament is controlled by the ruling party. what goes on is in Parliament happens at the behest of the ruling party, the executive. So the executive controls the Parliament, which I think is unproductive, unhelpful, and does not solve the kinds of problems we need to solve with respect to what we've been talking about. Right? That's one. Secondly, we have a situation where there are things about the way the judiciary performs that make us suspect that the government is affecting the what the judgments of the executive here. Not that that is very clear, but it allows room for suspicion. We don't want a situation where the executive are choosing the president of the country who has special functions in relation to a number of things, including the appointment of, I think, the judiciary. Of course, you have a legal and judiciary committee and so on, right? But there are things that the president has to do, but the president is appointed by the executive of the country. Now, if we want to change the way the executive tyrannizes all the other offices of the country, the executive holds sway over all the other processes in this country where decision making is concerned. If we have to do that, we have to develop a system like obtains in France and the United States of America. We want a situation where you vote your president, and that president, of course, having been voted in now by the people, not appointed, voted in, that president picks his cabinet. But he's accountable, and all the members of his cabinet are accountable to him or her. I better say her. And she is accountable to the electorate. We start off with those two things. And when you have matters like the procurement of boats for the inter-island ferry and for the operation of the Coast Guard, these are matters that should be examined, interrogated in the legislature, right? Without the government having an automatic majority, right, where the decision making is concerned, especially for matters that don't require a special majority. Yeah, it's not that we can't rely on the press. Obviously, the press is a kind of a watchdog of our democracy and so on. But one of the problems with the press, and I think Professor Wall Street referred to it, one of the problems is that the press is biased towards particular parties. In other words, some parts of the press, in our case, will favor the PNM. There are many media houses that do right now. And others will favor the UNC. Let me finally say this. We have a situation in which we don't have public discussion about what happens in Parliament. And if the reason is that our democracy is not organized to allow it, then in reforming the Constitution, we need to reorganize whatever whatever the matters are, so that we will have an involvement between the people and the executive that creates change that is not politicized by the numbers that permit one party, once it goes past the post, right, to run government in this country. Finally, let me say this. It's not that Bishnu, it's not that the opposition is weak, It is that the arrangements we have put in place make opposition weak. And I'm not talking about the ability to speak and so on. There are enough people on both sides who can speak well. But you can speak as well as you want if you don't have what I have just referred to, you're not going to get the change that you want. Oppositions can't be strong in a situation where as soon as the other side has the greater number overall, that other side wins everything. You can't run a country like that. And this country has been run like one of the first things we have to do in reforming the Constitution is in fact to change those governance circumstances that allow the executive to run the parliament at the same time.
You know, it's interesting that Dr. James, that you said weak and Dr. Bishnu also said weak. But here is a question from the chat. It says, Dr. Bishnu, you keep saying weak opposition, but the citizens, masses, still can't accomplish a protest in the streets because the government have put themselves in a position to control. What do you say about that, Dr. Bishnu?
I agree with you. And you see, in a way, what has because and Winford has referred to this on several occasions, that based on the system of governance that we operated, that this Westminster tradition, where winner takes all, loser gets none, this zero-sum game. Once you are in government, you control everything. But more importantly, that has been coupled with that with our reality, in that we have a plural society where there are two major ethnic when you talk about race-based politics, they do to the best of their abilities. And really and truly, what we have seen here is simply when you ask people, come out there and complain, come out there and protest, they're not going to do it. Why? Because they cannot protest against their own. Or some people have suggested, and let me go off at the deep end here and throw in something here that many people may not necessarily agree with me and probably chastise me about. Mm-hmm. The issue with crime. Mm-hmm. Take a more critical, direct approach in dealing with crime. Because if they do, they'll be accused of simply saying, is always we are Afro-Trinidadian led government, and the majority of people who you're going to go after are the Afro-Trinidadians, so you don't want that. So kind of like, in order that we keep the peace, the minority that we always hear the Prime Minister and the Minister of National Security is a handful of people. But if it's a handful of people, and it's a handful of people, don't our security forces have enough to go against this handful of people and remove them or treat with them, deal with them? And we don't. Why? And you see, this is where now we couple not only the issue of our Westminster tradition, but we couple that with the whole issue of bipolar society, two races, two ethnic groups, and we don't want to get into that issue too hard. And that's part of our challenge, because we have to deal with it. And we don't have the discussion on procurement and so on. But it's not only that, we need to deal with a lot of the other issues impacting our society, which people don't even really want to talk about. And that is part of the challenge. The biggest concern for Trinidadians and Tobagonians today, crime. But do we have a real public discussion on it. And every time you hear it, the Prime Minister shouts you down and say, no, don't talk about that. It's a handful of people, but yet still we're doing nothing.
Well, Dr. Bishnu, I think we have seen there have been crime talks in by the opposition party in different constituencies in Trinidad and Tobago. But I want to shift the focus a little bit to the whistleblower law. And how do you guys think, Dr. James and Dr. Bishnu, how do you think the whistleblower law will impact transparency and accountability in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, first of all, let me inform you that if you saw my mouth moving without talking,
Yeah.
it is that my wife just gave me a plate of food, and I'm taking the opportunity to listen and talk and eat at the same time.
Well, Dr. James, I realized that. So what happened? While you were eating, I put you in the background so you could
Right.
eat nicely.
I haven't finished, by the way. But I sensed that Bishnu was coming to an end, so I covered my plate of food.
Okay.
In preparation for the question that you just asked me.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful, splendid.
Now, of course, we have whistleblower legislation, and with the, I don't even know if I could say with the help of, but with the involvement of a member of the UNC opposition,
Correct.
was passed, right? Because it only needed apparently a simple majority, which government has. I think the final numbers was 22 versus 15. So the legislation has been passed, and I keep saying the government doesn't have an entitlement to the votes of the opposition. They've got to work for it. There is no rightness in saying that if the opposition is interested in solving crime, it must join the government from the government's own terms. That is simply absurd, right? The opposition must use its votes to advance its own agenda. And in cases where they are satisfied that the legislation, if operationalized properly, will result in a lowering of the rates of crime, by all means do that. And of course, let the people know. The average man out there cannot tell you, including myself actually, can't tell you, well, what are the innovations in the law that would cause us to have the relief that we so badly need and want? What is it that we know about the act, the whistleblower protection act, that we would jump at and say, look, this is what is there, and you can't see how the opposition could be against that, right? So what I'm saying here is people generally are not treated as if they understand the law, that they're interested in the laws that the parliament comes up with. The government cannot behave as if it has an entitlement to the votes of the UNC on legislation in the parliament. But you do need, from my readings across the globe and from listening to podcasts and so on these matters across the globe and using AI to find stuff for me, it appears that all right-thinking governments have whistleblower legislation, and they operationalize it with the effect that there is some reduction in crime. So I'm all for it. Yeah. It would be nice if there could be or could have been an accommodation and a collaboration between the opposition and the executive and the government. But if it doesn't happen, the government uses the resources that it does have and continue running the place, except the government is suggesting that the UNC is in cahoots with criminals everywhere. which would be absurd. Simply because I'm in opposition, I must be responsible for crime? No, I don't think so. But this is only the starting point of a conversation that I'm extending, Professor Wall Street. Yeah?
Yeah.
But it would be nice if we could tell the public, well, some of the things that are in that legislation and ask them whether they agree with those things or if they see loopholes, and ask them, for example, how would you go about operationalizing this law? How would you make it work for us? Yeah. And let me just say one more thing about something I think I heard in an exchange between you and Dr. Ragoonath. And that is that they keep the attorney, not the attorney general, the Minister of National Security, keeps talking about a small handful of criminals in the population. But that is not true. You know. Every living day, we have crime, not by the same people, by other people, including crimes of passion. There are people in the population who are prepared, right, to commit crimes of the worst kind, right? Not because and it's not only a few people, is that the population itself is full of violence. And people have come to behave as if they must take the law into their hands, right? They are prepared to die prematurely. I am reading these things in the population, but there are people in the population that keep feeding us with the crimes that we see on a daily basis. But except for the gangs and so on, it's not the same people who are committing crime, but it is people in the population that has the potential to do so and the willingness to do so. So it's not the same handful of people. They keep shifting. We can have a conversation on that. They keep the people who get involved in crime is not the same handful. It's different handfuls from time to time. You wake up tomorrow and it will be another set of murders you'll find. You follow?
Yeah. So that's something I think we can definitely discuss, Dr. James. I just wanted to say this. You asked the question with regard to the Whistleblower Protection Bill 2022. And Dr. Bishnu, I'm going to get to you. The Whistleblower Protection Bill 2022 is an act passed by the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago with the purpose of combating corruption and other wrongdoing. It encourages and facilitates disclosures of improper conduct in both the public and private sectors, protect individuals making such disclosure from detrimental actions, and regulates the receiving, investigating, of otherwise dealing with these disclosures. The bill defines certain terms used within it and provides for the application of the Act to disclosures of improper conduct, irrespective of whether the conduct occurred before or after the Act came into force. It also binds the state to adhere to its provisions. And what I wanted to do, Dr. Bishnu, I wanted to say something regarding the vote in Parliament. Now, I didn't see it as being a problem that one member of Parliament from the UNC voted for the whistleblower bill because I thought it was best for the country of Trinidad and Tobago. And whether he voted for it or not wasn't going to have a difference, right? It wasn't going to change the outcome of that vote, right? Is that correct?
Definitely. Whether he voted or not wouldn't have made a difference.
Right.
The government had a majority to a simple majority. Right. So it would not have made a difference whether or not he had voted one way or the other.
So why were people making an issue that he voted for the bill as opposed to saying, well, if you vote for it, it's all about country as opposed to party? Why was it an issue? Because he broke ranks? That's what it is?
So two things here that we need to dissect. And when we talk about whistleblower legislation, this is not the first piece of whistleblower legislation that we've had in Trinidad. We've had one passed way back in 2010, but that was just simply say, we should protect whistleblowers and so on, and they should not be subject to employment challenges and so forth. This bill, however, takes out, put into the law some of the concerns we have about whistleblowers and so on, and who they should report to and who they can report to and those things. The challenge, however, here is simply what I think transpired over the last few weeks with regard to this particular bill was simply the fact that the opposition in the parliament had made it quite clear that when we have to pass law in Trinidad and Tobago, we should pass good conduct and stand the scrutiny of the courts and so on. And that is part of the problem. When the government bill into a simple majority, the opposition had stood up and made it quite clear that putting it as a simple majority is one of the serious concerns that we'd have, because people will constantly challenge this. Because if I blow the whistle on you and you are not being investigated, you could now decide you want to come back and in some other way or fashion try to undermine my suggested or made against you. And those are some of the concerns that came up, and we needed now, and the opposition had argued in the parliament that they should hold to some of these things, and you should be very careful how you pass this piece of legislation. Unfortunately, so that was the opposition's position throughout the debate. I think one of the concerns they had, or people have right now, and there are several, one of the concerns is simply that the people who voted for the bill never even spoke on the bill in the parliament. So the member for Kumoto Manzanilla, for instance, never contributed to the discussion, but simply say, okay, fine, I'm going to come now. And once the bill is brought, and he knew full well that his party had taken the position during the course of the debate that they will not support the bill. But so he decided to come and support it. So that was one of the concerns. The second concern, of course, the argument has been made is that he was not directed as to how to vote, and he thought he had a right to his conscience vote. And that, I think, that's being, or treating us, or telling us that is thinking that we are all naive and that we don't know how politics operates in the country. So that's one of the other concerns that we would have. The mere fact that he decided he was going to go and vote for the bill alongside the PNM, coming out of the intel election that the UNC had, where, mind you, he was one of the candidates who ran for a deputy political leader, and he came out while he did not come last in out of the 7 candidates. He came 6th out of the 7 candidates. But in that campaign, a lot was said about his own personal interactions with the UN. So clearly, that would have brought him into focus, and what he did here in voting for the bill was not that he considered the bill to be important or anything like that. But this was just another attempt. The UNC to show that he has power on its own, because clearly the membership of the UNC did not.
Yeah. So Dr. Bishnu, you're still in and out. Dr. Bishnu, I think this is a good way, Dr. Bishnu and Dr. James, this is a good way for us to segue into the UNC internal election. And once we get back, Dr. Bishnu, Dr. James, what do you think were the major issues that dominated the recent UNC internal elections? What do you see as the major issues that dominated the UNC internal election?
I think Bishnu might be in a better position to speak to that issue. I did not follow the campaign, except, of course, to read what reporters wrote.
Okay.
But there are people who will go to the meetings in the two districts and so on, and will listen close up to what they have to say. So I really could not tell you what the issues are. Normally in local government campaigns, however, the candidates don't speak. It's the people in the national executive that speak. And so I don't know what Dr. Rowley had to say as he, supported the two candidates for the PNM, and what Kamla Prasad Bisala had to say. Bishnu,
he went out. He went out. He should be back. He went out. So, Dr.
Oh,
James,
okay.
let's go to the next topic we want to talk about quickly, the PNM winning in the Indian Walk. What factors you think contributed to the PNM's win in Indian Walk? Some people, I heard Dr. Bishnu said they ran that as this was a general election. What says you?
That's an easier question to answer.
Every once in a while I like to give you some easy questions.
Right. That's all right.
Yeah.
There's nobody I know who can answer all the questions in the world. And I have non-political questions to answer every now and then too. Just say. So we have one candidate winning, I think, about 700 more electors over to his corner.
Right.
And that seems to suggest that people are exiting the UNC camp. There's an exodus of former supporters and in favor of the PNM. So there is a suggestion that there might be a weakening of support in the electorate, certainly the electorate of those two districts. There's been a weakening of support for the UNC and a strengthening of support, because 700 votes at the local government election is not something to sneeze at. What I can't answer and tell you is that margin of victory can be generalized across the population. It would be foolhardy of me to make that conclusion. But there is an indication, however, certainly in those two districts, that the UNC may be losing ground, and there might be a message for the UNC to take from that result. And the message is that you've got to buck up. You've got to make yourself more favorable in the eyes of the electorate in those two areas. Just in case this thing is more widespread than you're willing to believe, that you can, in fact, whittle down. So there is that message. I don't know that the issues that might have been raised are different from the ones we heard when the general local government elections were held. But it does make the PNM feel hopeful that there might be more people in different districts that support them. And there are people who wonder how much more lucky can the PNM be, that despite problems in the way they govern, people will continue to support them. Now, mind you, I have to remind you, Professor Wall Street, that what was I going to say there?
Well, I don't want. I want to see if I could jog your memory a little bit, though, Dr. James, because in my estimation, Dr. James, looking at it from afar, you are more better equipped to deal with comparison between a by-election with respect to a local government election and a general election. In my estimate, Jack Warner, who formed the ILP, he won the Shogwana's seat by almost a landslide. However, when come to the general election, he was wiped off the map.
Not only that, but he had broken up with the
yes
UNC.
Right, but he was wiped off the map. So I am saying,
because the supporters were not his natural supporters.
Right, but and what I'm saying that in my estimation, a by-election or a local government election is totally different.
That's correct. But even so, the point I was making, is that people voted, and they voted with greater support, numerical support, for the PNM, who are in charge of a country where they say so much is wrong. You follow? But I take your point about the difference, the material difference between voting in local government elections and in parliamentary elections. I have no quarrel with that position. Hello?
Yeah. I just and then again, I am looking from it from afar. I'm not.
No, but I think you have access to the same body of facts. Perhaps even depending on your interest.
Yeah.
It's not because you have a program to run, Professor Wall Street. So you have to have material, and you have to be always ready with your references. Me, I don't have that burden. And there are people who want me to spend all my time just reading news. I can't do that. You believe it or not, I have different things to say about, and some of them are far more important than the way people vote in a local government elections, which is predictable. What was not predictable here was that you had the numbers by which the PNM won the Lengua seat, right? That I was not expecting the number in a local government election to be so large. And that is why I'm saying PNM could almost be forgiven for thinking that there is ground for some, some optimism, that we could probably pull this thing off, because a lot of people want to cut the PNM's throat, as you know.
No, I know that, but you see, Dr. James, I look at this, and Dr. Bishnu had said that the PNM ran that by-election in Lingua Indian Walk, like a general election.
This is what they always do with local government elections.
and the UNC had to kind of deal with the internal elections.
Right, at that same time.
At that same point in time. So, they couldn't, dedicate themselves to the by-election as much as they were like, and people might say, well, look, Wall Street defending the UNCS. I didn't understand that.
You're just giving the facts.
Dr. James, I appreciate that. I'm just giving the facts.
Yeah.
I'm a bearer of facts. And,
yeah.
And the sad thing is that I was telling someone, a caller earlier, that Jeff Bezos, I call him a gazillionaire, he says, every organization have to have a mechanism for truth telling. If that organization doesn't have a mechanism for truth telling, it's going to run into a whole lot of difficulties. This is from a person who is a gazillionaire.
Well, he has built an empire based on the facts.
Correct.
People need to buy things more cheaply, right? They can stay in their houses and collect stuff, right? He's willing to pay people to categorize goods, wrap them, He has a transportation system. All of those things are not based on opinion, these are facts, right? He has been able to manipulate the conditionalities of setting things online and allowing purchasers to access those things sold. He has a knowledge, an arrangement, that almost leaves nothing to chance. And if you are unhappy with the service, he's willing to refund you your money.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yep.
This is not based on ideas and emotions. This is hard business ideas that this man was smart enough to put into practice and to optimize for people around the globe. So I didn't hear you use your opinions there. I thought you were talking about what you know to have happened. If you understand me, Professor Wall Street.
No, I understand you fully.
And if you came to a general judgment that over time, you have found that people don't vote in general elections as they do in local government elections.
Correct.
And the numbers will tell you that that's the conclusion to come to, right? No, they can disagree with your solutions or your conclusions, but I don't think they can justifiably accusing you of supporting one of the parties in what you do on air here.
Well,
and that's why I'm supporting you, Professor Wall Street.
But Dr. James, they will say that I am totally against the PNM, and you get this too. I am against the PNM, and I am supporting the UNC.
Right.
And like I put out an editorial with respect to the Whistleblower Act of 2022, and
Right.
I am in favor of the Whistleblower Act because I believe it's a good thing for Trinidad and Tobago. Right?
But they said the proof of the pudding is in the eating. This government has passed legislation which has not had the effect that they told us it would have.
Yeah.
Now, that is a fact. Right? In other words, they can't say, look, these are the crime statistics. Here is the legislation. The operation of that legislation has resulted in a decrease in serious crimes. Now, you have never heard that kind of analysis, Professor Wall Street.
Correct.
You haven't. There is a hope that is what has happened. But nobody has been able to commandeer the facts and to say to me here, before this piece of legislation, these were the statistics. And not only that, they have to allow for other factors being responsible, right? So they have to narrow it down to the particular piece of legislation resulting in a decrease. However one gets to know about that legislation and how you calculate decrease, right? But it's not simply standing up on a platform saying, yes, we did this in the parliament and we could have done more if the UNC had ganged up with us and so on. And look, crime is still here with us. But you are the government. UNC is not the government. You have all the resources. UNC does not have all the resources. But there are people who believe that absurdity, that somehow it is for the opposition to run the government by assisting the ruling party. I don't understand that.
And Dr. James, I hear you fully 100% because I have said I am really not interested in hearing too much about what happened between 2010 and 2015. And the reason why, Dr. James, is because when I give certain facts, I don't give facts based on things that I throw up on the wall and see what will stick. I call it the spaghetti theory.
Right.
I get the facts based on information that's there in the public domain. And
right.
somehow people think when I say fax, I might be talking about FAX as opposed to be FACTS.
You are capable of dry humor, Professor Wall Street.
Yeah, I try every once in a while.
You do know that the fax machine
Yeah.
is a dinosaur. It has been for some time, right?
Yes, I'm fully aware of that. I'm fully aware of that. You know?
That's what technology does.
Huh?
That's what technology does.
That's what technology does. It
Absolutely.
makes good things obsolete.
Absolutely.
You know, let me say this. Microsoft used to have what you call that? One of those machines, those devices that plays music. And that device was working wonderfully well. Apple had one as well. Yeah. It used to hold hundreds of songs, right? And do you know that when the phone was able to use the applications that the music device was using, in other words, when the phone could do what that device could do, that device died.
Absolutely.
Died, you know.
Yep.
Because now the phone could do it. The phone could do other things, right? But the phone can do it. So technology keeps changing and improving, I would say, all the time. And that is a very good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
I think I'm living in an age, the age of technology advancement almost every week. I think it's a great time to be alive in relation to the enjoyment of those facilities. Do you know that these telecommunication companies that are going out of business have been put out of business because of an app like WhatsApp?
Correct.
And internet, of course. You have to have an internet. You have to have that, right? And I can call Professor Wall Street after this show using WhatsApp, and WhatsApp being powered by the internet. And it doesn't cost me more than I paid my telecommunication provider.
Correct. Correct. Yep.
So that's good. That's good. That's good. I must tell you, gentlemen. All right. So that is good.
But just before you go, Dr. James, are you aware of the situation regarding the Afrex Exim Bank? Or is that something that you have paid attention to?
I used to pay attention to the Exim Bank, and I think it existed at that time. I think it still does. But at the time, I was focused on its ability to give foreign exchange support,
right,
to exporting businesses. Yeah. I don't know how successful its operations have been in relation to the goals that it set itself. But I don't think that anybody sings its praises. The government doesn't sing its praises. So I wonder about how successful it has been. That is the Exim Bank that I know about. You had a name in front of it. What bank did you call it? What
Afrex. The Afrex. It's called the African Bank. And there was discussions with regard to the reasons why it's not in two Caribbean islands, Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica. It is in all the other Caribbean islands. And the Prime Minister was asked, why is it not in Trinidad and Tobago? And he answered by saying, it's because the Afrex Exim Bank wants all of its employees, both local and foreign, not to pay local taxes. And that is why it is not in Trinidad and Tobago. But that's what that discussion is for another day.
Now just do one thing for me.
Yes.
Spell Afrec.
AFRE is AFREXIM Bank. So it's Afrex Bank. Afrex Bank.
Export, import.
Right.
Sorry. And then you have an EX.
Right. So it's Exim Bank. AFRE.
Well, the Exim Bank. So the
right.
AF what?
AFRE.
Right. No,
so
AF.
Yeah,
AFR, actually.
Is it?
Because Exim is EXIM.
Hold up. I have it written somewhere here.
So it's AFR.
EXIM.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's AFREX.
Right. The EX is part of Exim.
Right. AFREX. So AFR is the African.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Right. And the EX Exim Bank. Yes, correct.
Why do you think I asked you that question? Because I have reason to but to use Afric, AFRIC, in reference to Africans across the world and in this country. So I also use Indic. And the reason for using African Indic is to use terms that have not been tarnished by emotion over time. So that when I use the term Afric, there is no emotion that you can accuse me of, negative or positive. It's neutral. Just as the Afrexim Bank has a spelling or a notation that is not harmful emotionally, is not offensive emotionally. And sometimes I say Afro and Indo as well. They are emotionally neutral so far. You get the point, right?
Right, exactly. You know, Dr. James, you don't have to answer this question, right? But I'll ask it anyway, because sometimes I ask questions that people don't have to answer.
Well, it's up to them, not to
right, yeah, absolutely. So here is the point, right? In my estimation, looking from afar, I had difficulties with the prime minister taking away land, and I'm saying taking away, right? Land from a black cultural organization in Trinidad and Tobago that was given
Panchinbago.
Yes, by an Indian prime minister to Panchinbago, and the prime minister, removing it from them and going and lease it to an Indian businessman.
Well, that is not definite,
What do you mean?
In other words, I don't think a decision has been made to do that.
But I just talking about the act, though.
The
act of him considering.
It means him saying it.
Yes, him just saying it.
But it's floating. A lot of politicians, especially ruling politicians, have a way of floating ideas to see the kind of response they would get.
Okay, I hear you. But also, Dr. James, on the other side, he changed Emancipation Day to African Emancipation Day. Yet the Emancipation Day Support Committee doesn't even have half an acre of land from the P&M government.
Right. In fact, what do they have? They've been around for so long. Wall Street.
They don't have anything.
And therefore you begin to ask yourself, what is their purpose? What is their purpose? What has been their purpose for so long? If there's impecunious.
Wow, impecunious. I like that one. Impecunious.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Another way of saying that is penniless.
Okay.
Impoverished.
Okay.
In other words, what have they done? What have they done for you lately, Professor Wall Street?
But it's my understanding.
The race. What have they done for the Afro race?
But Dr. James, in my understanding, because we had the director of the Emancipation Support Committee here with us. From what have been told,
Ambon's son?
No. It's I forgot the young lady name. It's a young lady.
Okay.
She have said of all the work that the Emancipation Support Committee that has done, but has gone unrecognized and have flown below the radar.
Well, that is unfortunate. They have to keep it alive.
Yes.
And since it's a people thing, there must be a movement, a party that keeps harping on the fundamental principles on which this organization has been founded. You follow? And there are material things that organization could have done. I don't know if it has done because they have, as you said, fallen below the radar. But I don't wish to criticize them. I'm just saying they have not been as noticeable in the positive sense as they should have been. And there are enough capable Afros
who could join the enterprise in a meaningful way? Have they been ending? Have they? What has been their contribution in the lowering of violent crime in the country? What has been their record of building homes, buying land and building homes for poor Afro people? You know, I am just thinking that they've got to put their money where their mouth is. And they could organize black businesses in a way that promotes the advancement of the Afros in this country. I'm just saying, but I didn't want to put it against the background of my criticizing them, just to observe that when I thought you would be doing this, I'm not seeing that. You follow what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I follow.
And there, as I said, there are capable people associated with that group.
You think before you go, you think, Dr. James, that with respect to the UNC and the recent internal election between the Star Team and the United Patriots, that Rushton Parry have to stop publicly criticizing the political leader, Kamala Prasad-Bessesa, in order for them to have some sort of unity going forward towards the 2025 election?
But whether he has that goal or not, that is to say, to assure that there is, unity and so on, he has lost the election. The election has given him his answer. People prefer to support Kamala and her team and not Rushton Parry. You have lost, so don't go flogging the horse, right? Don't go doing that, because your credibility will get worse.
Correct. Yeah.
Now, this is quite apart from whether he's going to actually support, because they're hardly going to use him in the national executive. But if it's your party and you said you're not leaving it, then I think you're duty bound to support initiatives, actions that party is going to take, because that is what supporting a party entails, right? Especially as you fought to change up the governance and failed. So I'm not saying that I have started doing that yet, but I will not be sympathetic to people like Rushton Parry if they continue in the same vein that preceded the internal elections, which they have lost. You can't keep doing the same thing and hope to talk about how disaffected you are, how displeased you are about how they're running the party, because democracy has worked in the way that it has worked. I'm afraid, Professor Wall Street, I hope I'm being reasonable here. I think I am. Yeah? Sometimes an election gives you the opportunity to shut your mouth.
Dr. James, I cannot say anything else. I don't know if Tommy has anything he wants to say to you. You have been splendiferous, marvelous, tremendiferous, splentastic, and spectacular.
But you know what you are not saying?
Yeah.
I am not a gazillionaire. Is that the word?
Gazillionaire.
I am not there yet, Professor Wall Street. And I wonder about the fairness of the good Lord in distributing resources in that evidently disproportionate way. I am not a beneficiary of such wealth. Maybe Bezos has something that I don't have, or probably is more righteous than I am. Or maybe he's waiting for an intervention from Professor Wall Street.
Well, I think it might be the latter than the former, or might be the former than the latter.
Or the former. You are making sure that your pathway is clear, Professor Wall Street. Yeah, I can live with that. Yeah.
You know, Dr. James, I have to say, anytime you come into the village, it's always a pleasure to have you. And we do appreciate your views and your opinions, and it's very succinct and it's always based on facts not fiction. You know, sometimes people want to give you fiction or want to make it make believe or a mirage. I put it,
Yes.
you know, it's a mirage, you know. So
Yes.
before you go, any closing words before you go?
No, call again. Sometimes I may not be able to accommodate you.
That's okay. We listen, Dr. James, listen. If we call you 10 times and you say you can only make it twice, we appreciate it.
Right.
Right? So those 2 times make up for the other 8 times that you can't make it.
Excellent. Especially as the coffee that you provide never gets to me.
Don't worry. Somehow there's a delay in TT post that it gets hung up in cyberspace.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Which might suggest that your embrace of the technology has not been as skillful as one would expect.
I'm going to try to do better as I go along. Dr. James.
Tommy, I hope you're on my side, Tommy boy.
Definitely. You're on point. You're always on point.
Right.
Dr. James, thank you so very much, man. It's appreciated.
Have a great rest of the day, man.
All right,
Thank
man.
you, and you too.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
good.
Bye. There we have it, folks. We're going to go for a quick station identification. We'll be back. Put your closing comments in the chat. So, folks, we had a nice little chat. You know, put your closing comments in chat. We'll be right back after this. Don't go nowhere.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
You know, Tommy, it's interesting with the last things that Dr. James said before he left. You know, Nathaniel Boris, welcome. Ali King, welcome. Alim Ali, welcome. And Edison Prince, welcome. It's interesting that what he said with respect to Rushton Parry.
Yeah.
And secondly, it was interesting what he said with respect to what happened regarding that whistleblowers bill and the UNC MP voting with the government. You know, I just felt that that bill was a bill for the country, and whether he voted with or without them, that bill will pass anyway. You know, so maybe voting for them could be just symbolic, but I don't have a problem one way or the other.
He was just sending a message.
Yeah. I just think, you know, you were sending a message, but I have a. Did you have a problem with him voting with the government?
He actually was showing that the message he was sending to his party is that country first.
Oh, shit, Uncle Tommy.
Oh, KFC.
Right now, skin our park, nice boy.
You down there?
Yeah, he was returning TV there. Return and thing, we're not down there right now.
Oh God, thing nice.
It's nice. We election coming, so that we just get from the piano, no wine and jam and river ball is the flag and what great is the piano.
We love you, so we take great care of you.
Yeah, that's it. You all a party, you all a red jersey, you
Eh.
all a maxi, you all a chubby, and a parroti. And then go out and vote. We start talking about tomorrow, go spend life. All I want tomorrow?
Yeah, we on tomorrow.
God willing.
I say good afternoon to Tunji and the Sin and Kingsley was doctor. I think Kingsley going down there.
Eh?
Yeah,
All right.
Mr. Maxi for him.
All right. Later. Yeah. Told me to send a maxi for Kingsley, babe.
Yeah, boy, they're doing what they're supposed to do, right?
Yeah. I wonder if COP looking at it too. You know, them fellas that don't look at it, you know, Tommy. They're looking, you know, to see the crowd, you know, to see what kind of crowd they have, all kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Next thing they go say, but the crowd was sparse. You know, people going and take pictures of certain parts of the crowd with empty chairs and things. You know where those go, Tommy?
Top of the hour is gone.
Yeah. Okay, folks. Let me give Tommy, you want to give your closing comment? Give your closing comment.
Yes, we must learn to turn to each other and not on each other. like I always say, you, the man in the mirror, has to become the change you want to see. However, if you look in that mirror and don't like what you see, do not blame the mirror. If I look down on a person, let's give them a hand up. Love you all. Be safe. See you tomorrow, God willing, in the village.
So,
Good
Tommy,
evening.
I just saw a news story here that says Rai expecting to be expelled from the UNC. Rai expecting to be expelled from the UNC.
Yeah, I saw that in the Guardian earlier on when I was taking a read of it.
Okay. Why expel? Why would they expel him though? They could put him on the back bench, right?
Basically, he said that the Constitution or the rules were expressed before to him, or it's clear for everyone that if you don't toe the line, that's what the results would be.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow, Tommy. I just hear this say, I don't know. I just said, folks. I just got this on my phone. I, you see what I said? PNM Sports and Family, they're relatively small turnout compared to other years. Shooting and stabbing in PNM Sports Day. 2 persons got stabbed and police let go shots in the air. All right. Let me give my closing comment. Yeah, and just the next person just said that too as well. Let me see what's this. Hold on,
Yeah. That shooting confirmed. That shooting confirmed in the PNM Sports Day. For which part I sit down here, I see the whole antics on the ground there, and then everybody from the second shelf and the third shelf in the pavilion. They was looking over the railing, looking to the ground where the person get shot. Yeah, for real, the PNM Sports Day. Right in the back where all the Prado pack up. And Skinner Park.
Okay. Okay, let me see. Mr. Florida sent a thing. I missed it. Mr. Ansem, good evening. Question to the panel. Is the majority of the population ready for policy campaigning or still with the Bantan, Bacchanal, and Pecan? Because to me, the population runs a narrative when a politician says something disrespectful to another person, like when Rowley say Hall. Okay, that was Mr. Florida. Okay, let me give my closing comment. Okay, so I mean, we focus on getting some answers from the political analysts, and I know there has to be a reason why Dr. Shane didn't join us because he always joined us. So let me give my closing quote, and then we out of here. Okay, Shakespeare said, "I always feel happy. You know why? Because I don't expect anything from anyone. Expectation always hurt. Life is short, so love your life. Be happy. Keep smiling. Just live for yourself, and before you speak, listen. Before you write, think. Before you spend, earn. Before you pray, forgive. Before you hurt, feel." Okay, hold on. Before you hurt, feel. Before you die, before you quit, try. And before you die, live. From where I said, this is it. The clock in the wall said that's all I like to say, but I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. And for every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. Let me go to the chat before we go. Nadira says, I am late, boy. Caribbean so check and see if Kingsley okay. She probably beat him up for taking 2 roti. All right. Fox Islam says, signed petition number 1 PNM activist and Assembly Born fights to save Never Cut CL Financial for 1% elite. Now UNC activist. My closing comment. Hey, Tommy, why?
What?
As a UNC activist now, boy.
Yep.
Yeah, boy. I get. Hey, Foxy, thanks, boy. As a UNC activist now, boy. Caribbean Soul says, Trinidad has get buyout next to nothing during election. Oh God, Caribbean source the PM go give Wall Street a building close to 2025 and he go cost Kamla. Oh God. I never cost Kamla in my life. I'll go cost she out of me.
If you ain't even cost Rowley yet.
I ain't even cost Rowley, but I go cost Kamla. In Trinidad and Tobago, if the facts point in favor of UNC, people say you're supporting UNC. They don't look at facts. So folks, we out of here. See you tomorrow. Same WZYE time, same WZYE channel. Enjoy the rest of your
7
Sunday.
p.m.
7 p.m. Later.
This is oh Lord, Trinidad and Tobago. This is DJ Bravo. I'm hurting you know. This is a sad place. My country turned into a sad place. When I look around, it's only sad face. Our country turned into a sad place. All I see in front of me, nightmares turn into reality. Like somebody build a monster factory. Parliament up against parliament economy. But let the moderators in another body in a dream. Somebody girl child missing, another rape again. And next road stain with somebody's sunburn. Who take the S out of Port of Spain. This is a sad place. My country turned into a sad place. When I look around, it's only sad face. Our country turned into a sad place. Now with the love, with the vibes, with the hope. Now tell me something, how we really want we cope. When the children breathing in too much gun smoke. And the Coast Guard can never see a boat. Yes, I'm like some goats when they come looking for votes. Hit the empty promises, reading like a horoscope. Justice for sale in a fat envelope. Politically, all the answers is a joke. This is a sad place. My country turned into a sad place. When I look around, it's only sad face. Our country turned into a sad place. All I see in front of me, nightmares turn into reality. Like somebody build a monster factory. Parliament up against parliament economy. But let the moderators in another body in a dream. Somebody girl child missing, another rape again. And next road stain with somebody's sunburn. Who take the S out of Port of Spain. This is a sad place. My country turned into a sad place. When I look around, it's only sad face. Our country turned into a sad place. It doesn't matter the religion, the color, the creed, or the race. It's our responsibility to take care of our place. Champion.